Hi, I'm Kevin Cullen, the Motorsportsman, and welcome. I wanted to show everybody at home what kind of a vehicle would a guy like me buy. I get to travel all over the world, try out all these cool vehicles in all these different locations under all kinds of different conditions, but I happen to live in Canada, a four-season climate, and not only wanted to purchase this car first before I showed it to you, but put a number of kilometers on it and show it to you under winter driving conditions today. I actually set my limit at 100K, went out and drove over 40 different cars over a 3-month period this summer, and ended up with my new beauty, the 2010 Ecoboost Ford Flex. The number of details that Ford has thought about in this vehicle that really make your life a lot easier when you're driving along. This may be a really simple one to a lot of people, but one I've gained a great appreciation for. If you take a look here, you just open up the gas filling area, and there's no gas cap. How sweet is that? We don't get our hands all smelly. The Ecoboost technology in this car is instantly recognizable from behind because we've got two larger exhausts, one on each side of the vehicle, where the traditional motor combination in this car has got two smaller exhausts on the driver's side. Now this is really cool technology. We've got a twin-turbo V6 that gives you all of the wonderful acceleration of a big heavy-duty V8, and in fact will out-accelerate a lot of them, especially at altitude. When you get into higher elevations with a turbocharged motor, you don't lose power like you do in a naturally aspirated engine. And in addition to that, if you don't drive it like a madman, you get the sweet gas mileage of a V6. Now, one of the things that I think we've all been intimidated by from time to time, both with space and time, is parallel parking. With a larger vehicle like this, that could be something that would intimidate anybody, I think. So this vehicle's got a feature on it called Active Park Assist. I'm going to hit the Active Park Assist button, which is right here, and have the car start to search for the spot. It's got a little display here on the dash telling me that it has actually found the space, and it's telling me to pull forward now a little bit to the back of this car. Sees the back of the car that is the front car you're doing in. It's asking me now to stop, put the car in reverse. I'm going to take my hands off the wheel, as you can see here, and this car is going to automatically park itself. It may seem a little gimmicky, but I'm telling you, every time I do this, I giggle. It's pretty cool. Then it tells you to put it in drive, and it finishes the part for you, turning the wheel in the other direction, and it now says finished, and that's all there is to it. Anybody can do it. This is one of the first cars I've got to drive with full electronic steering system in it, and that of course allows the car to automatically park itself. In addition to that, this car actually has 5 computers on board, and within that computer system, if you're driving down the road and you've got a really strong crosswind and you're constantly kind of correcting to one side or the other, these computers will actually correct for that, so you'll actually be driving down the road and you won't even know it in the steering wheel. Isn't that cool? You know, part of the fun is learning all the cool stuff that's on a vehicle like this, and the voice command area has literally dozens and dozens of different voice commands that you can make. I'm going to show you one more. Again, you just depress the button here on the steering wheel.
Please say a command.
Destination.
Destination. Please say a command.
POI.
Destination POI. Please say the city name.
Midland.
Please say a line number.
1.
1. Midland. Please say a line number.
1.
1. Fast food. Please say the POI name.
KFC.
Press the voice button to say set as destination, dial, or back.
Set as destination.
Set as destination.
I just press the accept button here. It computes the route, and now you're on your way to the KFC.
Route guidance will start now.
That's pretty straightforward. And let me show you now some of the screens in addition to the voice command screens that you can go through in touch mode, because this is all touch activated as well. This is the screen that they refer to as your home screen. It shows a portion of the GPS along with the music that you're listening to up in the top right, and on the bottom right there is of course all of your temperature settings for the car. Now by touching, for example, this left button here, you can put up the Ford logo, or you can actually add your own home photos to it and have pictures of your friends and family in there. And of course it goes back to the GPS. On the right side here, you can see it'll change the bottom screen to, in essence, a graphic EQ representation of the music that you're listening to, or give you the full right side of the screen with Ford, or back to your home screen. Now by touching any one of these three screens will give you a full screen version of that. So if I touch the GPS right now, you can see the GPS has now gone full screen, which is really nice when you're navigating through the city. You can also, with these controls up on the top left, move farther out and farther back in again, so you can see different representations of the scale of the area that you're driving in. And I like it back around there myself. So now going back and touching the home screen button, I can then bring up the climate controls. The climate controls can be set via the touch screen, both with the front zone and the rear zone. The rear zone also has a lock-off activation section to it as well, so if you've got people in the back seat you don't want to have control of the heater controls, you can do that. Or of course, you know, in our case, since we're all adults in my family and we don't have any children, we leave that disabled, as it were, so that people can operate the rear zone heat as they need it. This car also has 4 bucket seats with heating in it and 2 rear seats beyond that, so it's a 6-passenger vehicle with 4 of the seats heated. So you can go to the rear zone, and then here's your front zone. You can adjust all kinds of different settings, and it's quite easy to adjust the different settings here, as you can see, or change the temperatures up and down with your dual controls for the 2 front side driver and passenger. Now from there, when we go back here, I can also now touch this and bring up the full music screen. We can use either the volume control here on the steering wheel.
When I was young, I used to dream of being rich.
Now this is one of the other things I really want to comment on, because at the end of the day when you're driving along in your car, it's the chair, it's the steering wheel, could have the sunroof open, and the tunes that really for me make for a great driving experience. Ford along with Sony in this vehicle have done a superb job. There's 12 speakers including 2 subwoofers, and this stereo system is honestly the best I have heard in any of the cars that I test drove. And I test drove some cars that were a lot more money than this, that I had great expectations in the stereo, and was honestly, after listening to the stereo in all of the Ford vehicles that we tested, really impressed and really disappointed. I think that's, for some of you other manufacturers looking right now, an area that you can really take some notes from Ford on. So in conclusion, I was really surprised that the Ford 2010 Ecoboost Flex was the car for me. I really thought I was going to come home when I set such a high dollar limit with a Porsche or an Audi, a BMW, or one of those other fancy badge, kind of snootier kind of brand of cars. But I have to take my hats off to Ford. This car is truly amazing, and until you drive one, sit in it, feel the luxury, it's an amazing ride going down the road. It is really a great car. Now, I have found a couple of negatives with it too, so I want to make sure I share them with you as well. First of all, the rear window wiper. I'm not quite sure, but they've kind of set it off to one side, and I don't quite understand why they've did that. In addition to that, the rear backup beeping system, as it were, to let you know that you are within proximity of a thing when you're backing up. If something's coming towards the corner of the vehicle, it doesn't really work that well, so don't become reliant on these beeps. Make sure that you look behind you, and that's all you have to do. You'd have to do that on another kind of car anyway. So make sure you come back another time. I'm Kevin Cullen, the Motorsportsman, and I'm going to continue to show you some really great products.